Let's bring Doug Flynn in on that, the certified financial planner and co-founder of Flynn Zito Capital Management, who joins us. And let's see, consumer price index numbers up 0.2 in October versus 0.3 September, and excluding food and energy at least, which is how they do it. And that's kind of the number that everybody looks at. I just show it because of my handy-dandy telestrator, and I can circle the number there, Doug. But the point is that the Fed circles it too and says, all right, maybe we're done. I mean, is that the takeaway? Because that's what the market seemed to think today.
Oh, that's 100% what the market thinks. And basically, you've gotten CPI, which is core inflation, down to about 3.2% on an annual basis. It was 3.7 just a month ago. That's a huge drop, which is why the market reacted the way it did, both on the stock side and the bond side. Now, remember, when bonds go up in price, that means rates go down. They have that inverse relationship. So rates really tumbled today with the bond prices going up along with the stock market. So it's not just a stock story, it's a bond story too, with the yields coming down. And it's all about the inflation being much lower. And we're at the lowest point we've been in over 2 years, which is good.
Yeah, that number, there's the number you're talking about, the 3.2% on the consumer price index. That's basically where we're at. 3% is not bad at all, right? To be in that level compared to where we've been. I mean, the takeaway from this is it, you know, temporary, or have we pretty much turned the corner here, do you think?
Well, I mean, gas prices came down a lot, which is part of the reason why this dropped so much, and that's, you know, part of the reason. So it remains to be seen if gas prices can remain relatively stable. If inflation doesn't pick back up, there are things that could do that. Yeah. But if it doesn't, if it stays around here, it pretty much does mean that the Fed does not have to raise anymore. They're not going to say that right away, but the next meeting is in December, and then we'll solidify that into next year when we can look forward to perhaps even better things. But that's what the market's sniffing out, if you will, and that's why it reacted so positively.
Yeah, I know. That's next year, too, the election. So I know the White House had a positive reaction to this, too, because if anything's been holding the president's numbers down, it's inflation. And, you know, they're hoping that that will help politically. We'll see. Speaking of the president, I want to talk to you a little bit about this meeting that he's having out in San Francisco. So Xi Jinping, President Biden, China's obviously a big economic issue. One of the things I found, there's the Golden Gate Bridge again. One of the things that I found interesting about the meeting is that, you know, a lot of the big CEO types are going. And with all of what's been happening with China, are we starting to warm up a little bit to U.S. China business relations? Elon Musk and some others are going to have dinner, apparently, with Xi Jinping, according to reports. What do you think? Anything changing with regard to China?
I mean, I don't know how much one dinner is going to do, but remember, China has sort of created some of this by tamping down on some of the U.S. companies. We can get into human rights violations and pollution and all the other stuff that they do, but they want to entice more U.S. investment. That has completely slowed down. For instance, a lot of companies have offshored from China into India and other countries so that they're not as reliant on China. So they want to kickstart that. And I sum it up like this, you know, communication is good. Communism is bad. That's just pretty much what this comes down to. So if they can thread that needle and say, you know what, we're going to give you some more personal property rights. There really are none in China with what you do bring into the country. I think that will help U.S. companies be more confident in doing so. But without that, you know, China's not the only game in town. There are other places to go to. So it's him trying to get us to do that. And of course, all the companies and the CEOs want to do business in China. It is the second largest country as far as GDP. So they want to do business there.
You should have fed that line to President Biden. That's why I was chuckling that he might have said, as my father used to say, you know, communication is good. You know, so one of those when he's out and talking to Xi Jinping. Doug Flynn, thank you, sir, as always, on the business news for us. Let's go back to